let's talk about the road to nowhere. It's a 6-mile stretch of road located in North Carolina that is called Lakeview Drive. It sounds really scenic, it doesn't sound scary whatsoever. A little background about this road and the area that it surrounds. It was supposed to connect two cities, Bryson City with Fontana. It was created after an old highway was flooded to create Fontana Lake. The lake actually forms the southern border of the Great Smoky National Park. And fun fact about the Smokies is that it got its name from the Cherokee people who called it Shakonahay. It's inspired by the picturesque blue mist that floats above the peaks of the mountains. Sounds beautiful. It sounds like a painting. But the road was actually never finished by the government, allegedly due to environmental issues, causing the paved road to end at the end of a tunnel. So this gave its way to the name Road to Nowhere. A little history about the lake that was created. It itself has a bit of a hidden dark history. So before its creation, the land that the lake now occupies was not empty. It was in fact inhabited by several towns, homesteads, a railroad, and a highway. So during World War II, the US government actually wanted to harness more electricity to power the first Manhattan Project site as well as an aluminum plant. During World War II, in the wake of Pearl Harbor, the US government sought out more electricity to power the first Manhattan Project site as well as an aluminum plant. The Manhattan Project was a government project to develop nuclear weapons for the war. The government looked into what is known as the Little Tennessee River, which despite its name was actually quite wide. Construction for Fontana Dam began in January 1942 and was completed in 1944 by flooding more than 10,000 acres of land. So this reminds me of the show Ozark. And there were two characters, the Snells, who had this kind of tragic family history where their land was also taken to create Ozark Lake. It was flooded, and they not only lost their homes, but also the, graves where their ancestors' remains were. This is very similar to the story of Lakeview Drive and Fontana Lake, because the Tennessee Valley Authority, which was the agency that was responsible for creating the lake, offered residents of that land really small sums of money. And even those who didn't accept the offers apparently had their land taken from them anyways. So the project ended up displacing over 1,000 families. And aside from having to give up their land and their way of life, the residents also had to give up access to their family cemeteries. So more than 2,000 graves were cut off or relocated. And Lakeview Drive was that road that the government promised to build that would have led to the lake's north shore so former residents could visit their departed relatives. But as we mentioned, it was never finished. In 2018, the US government finally agreed to pay out $52 million to Swain County in lieu of finishing the road. Today, the National Park Service facilitates several decoration days each year where boats take community members across the lake to decorate, clean, and maintain the cemeteries. Now on to some of the paranormal stories that have been told about the area. The tunnel that's at the end of the Road to Nowhere is said to be the location of some strange and spooky experiences. People have claimed to experience glowing orbs or floating lights that they see with their own eyes while hiking on the nearby Nolan Creek Trail. Are these restless spirits of the nearby cemeteries, or could they just be a simple trick of the light? The underwater ghost town of Judson lies beneath the lake's waters. A bit of history about Judson. It was a small town located in Swain County with about 600 residents, a small number of shops that included a sawmill and post office. Life in the town was typical for the time, until the 1940s when the land was sold to the government to create the lake as well as acreage for the Smoky National Park. The town became submerged by water, and its residents immediately displaced. It is said one can still see the town's remains when the lake's waters are extremely low, eerily revealing old building foundations, abandoned cars, an old bridge, and even graves. Some people have supposedly reported feeling uneasy in the area and have the desire to leave immediately. Another ghost town known as Proctor can still be found in the woods of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It was once a booming logging town and home to about 1,000 people working for the Ritter Lumber Mill. It can be accessed by traveling across Fontana Lake and up Hazel Creek. The Calhoun House is the only standing structure that remains there. However, there are still some remnants of homes, stores, and a school that once were there. All are reminders of what was once a small but bustling town, and the many people who once called it home before being forced to move out. It is the only town left above the waterline when Fontana Lake was built. It is located on the North Shore side, and getting there is no easy task. The journey requires taking a ferry from Fontana Village, Marina, or hiking 12 miles each way from the dam. There is actually a guided hike one can take that is organized by Bryson City that takes hikers up to the ruins of the mill, the Calhoun House, and to Proctor Cemetery. Today, part of the area is used as a backcountry campsite in the national park. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you have any stories or topics you think I should cover, or simply just want to share them with me, please feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message. I love paranormal and historical content, and if you do too, I hope that you'll hit the like, subscribe, and notification button and join me on the next one. Thank you. Until next time.